Hello and welcome to another edition of Cranky Gun Reviews. I'm trying to do more frequent videos so I don't have 2-3 week gaps in between all my videos, but again, lately the summer's been really busy with work and family outings and stuff like that, so when I get out to the range I try to take a whole bunch of videos. On this day, I wanted to try my 7.62x39 AR-15 upper. This is, again, a Bear Creek Arsenal upper, and yes, like I said before, I am kind of a glutton for punishment. This particular upper did have a couple of issues. The first time or the second time I took it out, I broke the extractor off the bolt. Then I got the bolt extractor replaced, and the next time I took it out, the firing pin broke. So I replaced it with a right to bear enhanced firing pin, not a Bear Creek firing pin, and I wanted to see how it ran. So on this particular range outing, I took it out and I had a whole bunch of ammo that I was shooting. And I know that steel-cased ammo does not always run well in AR-15s, but because it's 7.62x39, I figured, whatever. It's the most plentiful ammo that I have in that caliber, so I figured I'd take it out and do some shooting. And for the most part, it went pretty well. You can see me here once in a while adjusting the red dot because I hadn't really shot it since I put the red dot on it. The first couple times I took it out, I put the iron sights on, and that's what I used to shoot. But this has a Crimson Trace red dot on it, and I was trying to get it sighted in at 25 and 50 yards. So the first, I think 4 magazines went off without a hitch, and, the accuracy started dialing it in as I was messing with the red dot. And yes, I know I could take a lot less time getting this thing sighted in if I bought a laser bore sighter, but honestly, it's 7.62x39, it's steel cased, it was a beautiful day, I didn't mind wasting some ammo, and like I said, I was getting it dialed in after, about 2 or 3 magazines, so I was having some pretty good fun. Now, I started having a little bit of trouble, I think, on the 5th magazine of ammo, so you can see by that point, I wasn't taking my time letting the gun cool off in between magazines. I basically was putting 10 rounds through it in about, 30 or 40 seconds, taking a couple seconds in between each shot, and then putting another magazine in and just keeping shooting. And then every once in a while I would take about a minute break, fiddle with the red dot a little bit, and then keep shooting. I started having issues right around the 51 or 52 shot mark, where the gun fired and then would not extract the round. So this is kind of typical of steel-cased ammo when you shoot it in AR-15s. Problem is, as the barrel heats up and when you're firing it, the steel-cased round does not contract like a brass round does. So normally when you shoot a brass round, as soon as you fire the gun, the case swells up and then shrinks back a little bit, and that lets it extract pretty well from the gun. Well, in this particular case, as the gun heated up, even though I was using standard ammo, which I don't think is lacquer coated, I think it has like a poly coating on it, or just like a slippery, powdery coating on it. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's not lacquer coated like you see with Barnall and some of the other brands. So I figured I was going to be okay. But in this particular case, like I said, after about the 5th magazine, I fired the gun and I actually had a round get stuck in the chamber. And this happens from time to time. Again, the barrel's really hot. You fire off a round with a steel case jacket, it swells up and it won't release from the barrel. It just gets bound up in the barrel. So in this particular case, the round got stuck in the chamber, and originally I thought it was the extractor that broke again, because that's what happened the last time when I fired a round and it didn't eject it and the trigger went dead. But in this particular case, it was actually a stuck round. So I know the gun's safe at this point. I have fired the round and the shell just won't extract from it. So you'll see me fiddle around here for a couple of minutes, first trying to figure out exactly what went wrong. And then I realized that there is a spent shell stuck in the chamber. So I decided to break the gun in half, and I brought a cleaning rod this time around, knowing that this may happen. Here I'm expecting that the extractor is broken, and it's not. So I grab a cleaning rod and attempt to ramrod that shell out of the barrel. Unfortunately, it was just too hot and it was stuck, and I ended up just bending my cleaning rod quite a bit. So I had to let the gun cool down for about 20 minutes. After it had cooled down for about 20 minutes, I was able to get that spent casing out of the chamber, And at this point in time, I decided to shoot some Bellum brass cased ammo because I had bought about 60 rounds of this stuff with me to the range, and I figured I haven't shot this stuff through this gun yet. I wanted to see what it would do anyway, so I figured it was a good opportunity. I did not clean the gun in between getting the stuck casing out and firing the Bellum. All I did was just extract that steel case and then loaded up a couple of magazines and proceeded to go back to firing. And as you'll see here in a second, the brass cased ammo fixed the problem entirely. I did have one round that the bolt didn't seem to close all the way, so it didn't quite go into battery, and then when I pulled the trigger, the hammer fell, but it didn't even put a strike on the round itself. So in that particular case, I think it was just the extractor hadn't quite made it over the rim of the shell. I here put that round back into the magazine, and it went off the second time. Again, there wasn't even a primer strike on it the first time. It was just that the bolt didn't fully go into battery. So this Bellum ammo, I'm pretty impressed with it. Not only was it reliable, but the accuracy was quite a bit better using a red dot at 25 and 50 yards. Wasn't trying to do any accurate shooting, but it was much more reliable and it was a little bit more accurate. So I don't have a lot of this Bellum stuff in stock, in my stockpile of ammo. So I was able to go online and I found a case of another brand of brass case 7.62x39. And the lesson learned with this is now all the parts from the Bear Creek Arsenal upper are fixed, and I just know that I need to shoot this with brass cased ammo.